FOX54 Week in Review. I'm Stona Meadows. This week, girls behind the welder's mask and a new kind of summer camp. The University of North Alabama announces a new stadium. And the Doctor Who, will explain why the TARDIS may not stop in the Rocket City in the future. But first, this week the U.S. Army celebrated its 248th year of operations. And of course, a military community like Huntsville had to celebrate. We start the festivities at where else? Redstone Arsenal.
From those still serving, like First Lieutenant Nigel Coles.
The Army's birthday is important to me because, you know, all my family I serve, not only my mother and my father, but on both sides of the family. So I really appreciate everyone that does take part in it, that does take time to actually celebrate and remember the day.
To those who have served years ago, like A.J. Myslack, who served in both the Marine Corps and Army.
Just a reminder, comradeship, with your brothers and your sisters. I was in the Army, I had the opportunity, and the Marine Corps. So whenever it's the Marine Corps' birthday or the Army's birthday, I like to show my support.
Celebrating the Army's birthday is important and something Coles believes in, as he is also an Army recruiter.
I feel like everybody should join the Army. It's a great opportunity for yourself to be a part of a team. Most of us have been a part of teams, like whether we play football, basketball, hockey, cricket, whatever you want to play. It's a great thing to be a part of something that's larger than yourself and to push something forward.
Myslack feels similarly, saying that being able to serve was his honor.
I'm not looking for any recognition, tap me on my back and say great job or something, but it is what it was. It was my honor to serve. Nobody asked me to do it. Nobody forced me to do it. I wanted to do it.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Army. Happy birthday to you.
As I look back on it as an American citizen and a soldier for almost 34 years, the Army birthday symbolizes to me is the continuity of service to our nation.
For 248 years, the Army has been dedicated to its country and its people.
Through thick and thin, through ups and downs, the Army's been a constant force of good for our nation. And it's not just about us who have served a long time in uniform. It's about the commitment of our nation and our citizens of our nation to commit their sons and daughters to the all-volunteer force.
The U.S. Army was founded on June 14, 1775, when the Continental Congress authorized enlistment of expert riflemen to serve the United States colonies for 1 year. On the same day in 1777, our country adopted the flag of the United States, now commemorated as Flag Day.
It's a cause for celebration for all Americans, but for us in the Army, we get an extra bonus because it's the Army's birthday.
This year's theme is Be All You Can Be, a slogan that started off as a recruitment pitch, but instead inspired a generation.
We brought back Be All You Can Be this year. Be All You Can Be is really about the over 200 different jobs and specialties that we can offer as training and as opportunities for our young men and women who want to join our Army. And it's not just about the soldiers, too. It's about our dedicated Army civilians all the way back here to places such as Huntsville, Alabama, at Redstone Arsenal.
And in grand Army fashion, they ended today's celebration in song. In Huntsville, Kim McCoy, FOX54 News.
Well, according to the U.S. News and World Report, lack of access to high-quality and affordable child care has more than doubled its blow to the U.S. economy over the last 5 years. Redstone Arsenal is looking to combat this by providing lower costs for child care to military-connected families in the area. Our Nixa Norman tells us how.
With the price of childcare steadily increasing, the Arsenal is offering lower-cost childcare to military-connected families. I spoke with the director of this operation right here, and she says, here, you'll get what you pay for.
The first thing Tamika Smith-Grant, facility director of Redstone Arsenal School Age Center, wants folks to know at home, particularly military-connected families, is that these services exist.
Well, first, we want so many different military-connected families to know that we are here.
You may be wondering, what exactly entails a military-connected family?
If you are a retiree, but you still have access to the post, we need you. We need your babies. If you are a DoD civilian, if you are a contractor and you work here on Redstone Arsenal, our services are for you.
There's a push to get more children involved as they are gearing up for after-school programs come August.
Right now, we have a good 80 signed up, but this building holds up to 160 kids.
As the United States faces a child care crisis with the growing cost of child care, the Arsenal is looking to keep that cost at bay.
They pay for the bus transportation because we also pick up from over 30 to 40 schools in Madison City, Madison County, and Huntsville City, and we're spreading out all over.
Making these services worth your time and money.
We're not a free program, but we're a program, honestly, where you get what you pay for. There are a lot of after-school programs where they're just kind of in a gym and they're running around. Our after-school programs, we literally have life skill programming, educational success. We have the Youth of the Years. We have fine arts programs that we put them in. Their art goes from state to national to regional. I mean, there's so many different opportunities that they have, but it goes beyond today, and it goes beyond this year. It carries on until the middle school teen and until they graduate.
For more information on the cost of these programs and where to sign up, visit fox54.com.
Here on Redstone Arsenal, I'm Nixon Norman, Fox 54 News.
And over at Drake State, the school celebrated Friday with a groundbreaking ceremony. The school will start construction on its new advanced manufacturing center. Our Jasmine Bird was there and tells us what this will mean for future students.
In about 15 months, students here in Huntsville will walk through the doors of a $30 million and approximately 50,000 square foot facility that will set them up for a level of success that can change the trajectory of future generations.
Senior Vice Chancellor of the Alabama Community College System, Susan Price, says there is no doubt that this center will be a model for streamlined and innovative workforce training.
Programs offered in the center will include machine tool, industrial systems and technology, engineering design, and mechatronics, which are among the most in-demand career pathways needed in North Alabama.
The center will also include an additive manufacturing lab.
And possibly more importantly, flex lab space for business and industry that can be adjusted based on immediate needs.
Drake State President Dr. Patricia Sims says if you look around the city, the new facility is significant because Huntsville is experiencing tremendous growth. The workforce is expanding and the needs are increasing.
And so that's our goal. It's our goal. We're training for the workforce, preparing students for their future, and this facility will allow us to do that.
So when can students and faculty expect this training center to open?
We hope that this will be an 18 to 24-month process.
All in all, Dr. Sims believes Drake is not just in the community, but also a part of the community.
And so we need more spaces on our campus that allow us to engage community, to better expose, especially young people, to the programs and the trainings that we have. And so this facility will allow us to do all of those things.
Huntsville City Schools has a new superintendent, as you see behind me. Dr. Clarence Sutton is the district's new superintendent. The board approved the hiring during a regularly scheduled board meeting earlier this evening, and it was a unanimous decision. Sutton previously served as the district's interim superintendent. He shared his gratitude and excitement for the future of Huntsville City Schools.
I'm kind of like Tim Tebow. You would never see someone who worked harder than me to be successful and win your trust, because it's all about students and moving students forward. I truly believe that Huntsville City Schools can be the premier district, not only in the state, but in the nation. I truly believe we have the people, the community, the resources, and the support and the leadership from this group to move us to that level.
Well, congratulations, Dr. Sutton. He enters the position with nearly 30 years of experience in public education. He previously served as the longtime principal of Central High in Tuscaloosa, where the school significantly increased graduation rates during his leadership. Major update. Thank you so much, Nixon. Well, if you're looking for a little southern comfort, look no further than Cliff Farm. The mixed-use community was built on the success of the century-old Cliff family farm, and now development company Leland Ventures is adding to its charm. Our Ken McCoy at the groundbreaking.
Cliff Farms is another area here in Huntsville that has seen tremendous growth over the years. But when I asked developer Leland Ventures on what exactly sets this area apart, he says it was its elegant southern style and traditional charm. And their latest project looks to add to that appeal.
Cliff Farm, 600-acre development of residential and commercial. We first started with the art at school next door, bought this site when there was nothing else around this beautiful lake behind us. We just knew something special was taking place out here.
Lakeside Plaza is the newest development being added to the growing Cliff Farms area.
So unlike any other residential retail center out here, this center offers some really fine dining restaurants with nothing but noodles, something for the children, a cookie fix. We've got an extra space left of about 5,000 square feet that we're looking for the right tenant.
Developments like Lakeside Plaza have been harder to build due to the state of the economy, but Lee says Huntsville has found a way.
The ability of Huntsville to bring in the jobs and the people and the industry is just unique among the whole state of Alabama. And we are so thankful that despite the economy, despite COVID, despite the supply chain and labor issues and things like that Huntsville and Madison County continue to grow.
But what exactly sets Cliff Farms apart?
There's not any other residential commercial development in Huntsville that I know of like Cliff Farm. This farm was in the family for 4 generations. And we honor Mr. Cliff with everything that we do. There's multifamily, there's residential going in all around us. I mean, if I was a young person, I'd want to be right in the middle of this every day, you know.
In Cliff Farms, Ken McCoy, Fox 54 News.
The year 2029 is when NASA plans to send humans back to the moon, but before they can do that, many tests must be completed. A new partnership with Blue Origin is just step one of many. Our Ken McCoy was able to take a tour of the testing facility and has the story.
Guys, we know that one of NASA's most important missions right now is getting humans back on the moon. And that's what buildings like the ones you see behind me come into play. But to get a better understanding, let's start on the moon.
It is over 3 feet. So you can start to imagine that when we actually get down to the lower angles of sunlight, these shadows will go all the way back to the end of this facility.
The Flat Floor Research Facility inside of Marshall's Environmental Test Lab is where NASA is testing what conditions to prepare for once we finally make it back to the moon.
Now, going back to the moon, we have to figure out how we can test things as if they were on the surface of the moon.
Today, NASA marked the start of human landing system work with Blue Origin to land astronauts on the moon for the Artemis 5 mission.
These facilities provide key capabilities for lander development, habitation systems, you name it.
Blue Origin also expressed the excitement.
The national team is incredibly honored and humbled by this selection. We're excited to be working together. We've been working for many years on this, for this day and for the day that's coming up in a few years where we land people on the moon.
While also commending the work ethic of those involved here at home.
Having days like today, let those family members know that's why I'm not seeing someone, late hours and so forth, because they're working on the center. And that's the excitement we see.
To get the full story of today's event, head over to fox54.com. For Fox 54 News, I'm Ken McCoy.
Every city here in the Valley is growing at a rapid pace, and and the city of Madison is no exception. In order for residents to keep up with this growth, the city has recently launched a new mapping tool where folks can keep an eye on approved projects, upcoming construction, and openings. I spoke with a member of Madison City Communications. She tells us more.
Madison is growing, moving, and shaking. We want to make sure our citizens are up to date on all the current information.
Due to all of the growth that is taking place there, the city of Madison wanted to create a way for citizens to stay up to date on what's currently taking place and what's coming next.
The City of Madison is utilizing a GIS mapping tool to be able to show our citizens all of the projects that are happening in Madison. This particularly focuses on developments that are under construction, that have finished construction, or are in the planning phase. So it gives updates to our citizens in real time of what's happening. Our planning department will update these about monthly.
Security could very well be a concern you have, but just like Google Maps, Apple Maps, or any other mapping tool, homes will be shown. But it should not be taken as a security risk.
All mapping software will show homes, and safety is obviously a priority, but this just shows projects under construction. It should not be a security risk by any means.
All in all, the city's main goal is to create a strong sense of transparency between city government and the citizens.
We work really hard to make sure that people stay in the know and are knowledgeable about projects that are happening within the city. This is another tool that gives us that transparency and gives us that reach to our citizens. So we hope people can utilize that by going to our website and utilizing these mapping software tools to stay up to date.
For more information on Madison City's mapping tool and a link to access it, visit FOX54.com.
Another North Alabama native NFL player held their youth camp today. Last weekend, Philadelphia Eagles Quez Watkins and Reed Blankenship were back in Athens for Quez's camp, and today Tennessee Titan Monty Rice was in Madison for his. This was the first ever camp hosted by Rice, who is heading into his third year as a pro. The James Clemens grad played his college football at the University of Georgia, and after being named first team All-SEC in 2020, he was drafted in the third round of the NFL draft. Last year, Rice played in 13 games for the Titans and recorded 66 total tackles, which was a new career high.
It was a special day today. I'm glad we were able to come out here and compete and have fun. And you know what, we could be doing any other thing on this, great Saturday. But these kids decided to come out here with me and the rest of the coaches and have fun, and that's what matters most.
Saturday at the Trash Bandits was Negro League Appreciation Night. It was a celebration of black baseball, its history in Alabama, and its enduring legacy.
The festivities included music, food trucks, and an informational booth by black-owned businesses. The highlight, though, was a ceremonial first pitch, thrown by Huntsville native and former Negro League player Horace Moore. Frank Adams with the Negro Southern League Museum was among the organizations in attendance. He said events like these serve as helpful reminders of baseball's black heritage, especially in Alabama.
Well, anytime we have an opportunity to talk about Negro League baseball and the impact that baseball had on the national game, it's a wonderful chance for us to highlight the legacies and the wonderful enrichment that those players gave to baseball nationally.
This comes during a time when the Negro Leagues are getting fair recognition from the baseball world after years of being relegated to the happenings of a bygone era.
Well, when Major League Baseball decided to incorporate Negro League stats into their national databases, that was a big step forward to saying that these guys were not only African-American baseball players, but they were great players in their own right. And so celebrating Negro Leagues is really celebrating America's pastime and really the totality of the game.
In Madison, Simon Williams, FOX54 Sports.
Whether you know it or not, what will soon be the world's largest private aviation terminal operator broke ground right here in Huntsville today. Our Jasmine Bird on what will be the new state-of-the-art facility and why it matters in the Rocket City.
We're willing to make big investment, which is why we're so proud to have been awarded this 20-year lease here and announced the $11 million, greater than $11 million investment that starts here today with the groundbreaking ceremonies.
Signature Aviation Senior Vice President for Operations, Marty Kretschmann, says it's time for more space.
So to keep up with the growth that's already happened and the growth we think is to come. So moving into more modern, larger facilities will help us serve better as the front door to the Huntsville community here.
Huntsville Mayor Tommy Battle says this is a location that touches the rest of the world.
Our leaders come in here, this is their first impression of Huntsville.
And this investment really speaks volumes. Just ask Huntsville-Madison County Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Chip Cherry.
When people step off the plane, walk into this new facility, it shows what Huntsville is really all about, and it shows we're progressive, and it shows that we're updating things and keeping our community on leaning forward, leaning forward.
So when can this new facility be expected in the Rocket City?
So the hope is, by about this time next year, maybe a little later, we'll be having a big party out here to celebrate the grand opening.
In Huntsville, Jasmine Bird, Fox 54 News.
Something new for seniors. Penrose, the Huntsville Housing Authority, and project partners celebrated a ribbon cutting for Stone Ridge Villas Phase 2 in Madison today. This adds 65 senior affordable rental units to the Stone Ridge Villas development. With the completion of the second and final phase, Stone Ridge Villas includes 145 units of high quality, affordable housing for seniors and robust on-site supportive services.
This project is affordable for seniors who make at or below $41,000. That's an individual a year.
So I moved in January 1st, and I was so happy. And I went to a store, and there was one mat left, and it had said, "Welcome home, welcome to home." And I was so thankful.
Wow, very emotional there. A lot of gratitude. Stone Ridge Villas Phase 2 includes a mix of 1- and 2-bedroom units for seniors in cottage-style buildings and is restricted for seniors 55 years of age or older. Athletics at the University of North Alabama are taking the next step in elevating their profile. Our Simon Williams has more from the Shoals on just how.
It was a big day on campus at the University of North Alabama as the school announced its formal intentions to build a multi-purpose stadium on campus. It will be the future home of football, baseball, and women's soccer.
The plan is to turn the Bill Jones Athletic Complex into the permanent home for these teams' games.
President Ken Kitts said this was part of their full transition to Division I status.
So we used the Division I metaphor extensively at the university. It was a university booth. Certainly athletics first and foremost, but we've talked about Division I academics. We've achieved that. Doctoral programs growth on the Honors College, Division I campus life, and part of that is Division I facilities.
University leadership was not explicit about any numbers like finances, seating capacity, or stadium dimensions, but did say their goal for completion is the 2026-27 school year.
What we know is that those three programs, football, women's soccer, and baseball, that are part of this site will be part of a redeveloped site. However, over the course of this time, we've looked at numerous concepts for this space. And so as far as which sports actually have programming in Bank Independent Stadium and how they all interact and where they practice, that's ultimately where we're getting to with this scope over these next 12 months.
Now off to Decatur City Schools, they have taken one of their old school buses, fixed it up, and gave students at Bank Cadell Elementary School a day they won't forget. Our Ken McCoy with a look behind the wheel.
This is a project we've been working on for several years. We're very excited about it. Not only will it impact our students, but also our teachers and our entire community.
Welcome aboard the STEAM engine, where students are learning STEAM concepts in a fun, innovative setting.
Okay, so today we're all going to be astronauts. We went to the moon and we got stuck in space. So what we have to do is we have to complete STEM challenges in order to come back to Earth.
The bus has three main goals. The first goal is to provide innovative learning experiences to our students. So every time they board the bus, they're going to learn something new, and it's going to align with what they're learning in class, but also align with our math and computer science standards. The second goal is to provide professional development to our teachers. We have these new standards, but we need to train our teachers to teach them innovatively and outside the box. The third is we are going to roll this bus into the community, into some of our highly populated areas, and provide different services to our families, such as workforce development, mental health services.
The idea for the bus came because Plunkett wanted to find an innovative way to reach kids through STEM.
You know, these days we're competing against video games that the students have at home, so let's make learning innovative. Instead of doing things on worksheets, let's make it creative and provide them a creative outlet.
And she has a way of doing just that.
So the bus will have Wi-Fi and we'll have the computers. I'm also excited about the 3D pens and the printer. So the kids can literally create things and then print it out while they're on the bus.
But this bus has another objective.
So the goal is to take it into some of our communities and have parents fill out job applications and help them with things that they might not have the internet connection for. So provide classes. So that's one thing I'm super excited about.
For Fox 54 News, I'm Kim McCoy.
Verification is very important.
A recent arrest was made of a man in Limestone County who admitted to impersonating a law enforcement official and using equipment to make traffic stops. It's raised some questions and safety concerns when people are pulled over by an unmarked police car. Captain Lamar Anderson with Madison Police Department says their department uses unmarked vehicles as part of the traffic safety unit.
It gives us the opportunity to be proactive as far as traffic enforcement.
But what if you are concerned about an unmarked vehicle that's trying to pull you over?
If there's any question as far as when you see the lights in your rearview mirror or side view mirrors, you know, the citizen needs to activate their hazard lights to notify the police officer that, hey, you know, I do see you and my intentions are to stop.
Then you should find the nearest well-lit public location.
That officer should identify themselves, name and title and the reason for the stop, and that they work for a particular police department.
During this time, you have a right to call 911 or a non-emergency number to verify with dispatch that this person is a police officer and is authorized to pull you over.
If dispatch cannot verify that information, that citizen can request to speak with that officer's supervisor. Have a supervisor respond to the scene. A real police officer is only going to ask you to do what supported by the law.
Captain Anderson says there is nothing wrong with a person asking for verification on who is stopping them and why they are being stopped.
Officers are trained, and it's our responsibility to make sure that whatever type of enforcement action is going to be the result of that traffic stop is that that citizen is comfortable and that they are informed of who is stopping them and why they are being stopped. I think it starts there.
A big partnership sparks an interest for teen girls wanting to get hands-on with heat, tools, and electricity. It's called Sweetie Camp, an acronym for Summer Welding and Electrical Technology. Our Jasmine Bird got to see it herself and tells us more about it.
Summer Welding and Electrical Technology, also known as Sweetie Camp, is in full swing.
Just kind of the experience. I think it's really cool, and I think it's very fascinating. And I think it's a really good career as well.
Kendall Livingston is homeschooled. The 9th grader says welding just kind of piqued her interest, and she decided to participate in Sweetie Camp because she wanted to learn more.
Well, I really like working with my hands. I work in HVAC, so kind of just in like the hands-on kind of work.
This year, 40 students have registered, and that's a record number for the program.
We have 35 girls here. In the past, we typically had between 20 and 24 girls, so it's almost doubled.
Director of Talent Development and Recruitment for the Decatur-Morgan County Chamber, Amber Fortenberry, believes this just shows that the girls are interested in the trades and welding and electrical and manufacturing. Now, this is the Chamber's 17th year hosting Sweetie Camp, and approximately 400 students have graduated from the program. Welding instructor volunteer Sarah Myers believes one of the reasons there is not a lot of women welders is because of the lack of information.
And yeah, I'm just really glad to be able to volunteer, to be a part of something that is helping young women understand that this is an option that's available to them, and it's a good option, and you can make a lot of money, and you can excel in the field.
Indicator, Jasmine Bird, Fox 54 News.
Over in the Mid-City District, a group of Whovians gathered to bond over the Doctor Who fandom, among other fandoms. John Barrowman, who plays Captain Jack Harkness, there he is right there, in Doctor Who, was a guest speaker there. And I was able to speak with the boss lady who created this event back in 2012, filling a need, as she says, right here in Huntsville.
The only Doctor Who fandom conventions there was out in California.
And we know there's Whovians everywhere. That's what they're called. So I helped my daughter run an anime convention for 9 years, and a guy come in dressed like a Doctor Who doctor, and my friend and I said, well, let's try that, and it has just grown tremendously over the last several years. So.
Otten says this could possibly be the last of this event, but there is a possibility that another Whovian will take over.
That's all for our weekly roundup of North Alabama at its best. Remember, for news, weather, and sports anytime, visit fox54.com and download our app. Get more out of Fox 54 with Fox 54 Plus, our 24/7 streaming app featuring cooking shows, gardening tips, and specials like Unzipped, the Zip to Zip road trip, and the Valley's top teacher class of 2022-2023. I'm Stona Meadows. See you next weekend.